All right, hello. Uh, it's been like after 2 or 3 days, we didn't really make English session. Yes, that is because of that. Ki I am is kind of like a really busy or something. Yes, because of I have to edit Pune's video. Okay, so I just have to be focused on that. And there are the several things happened during these 2 days. Just like I need to be, so I just uninstalled my Premiere and updated my Premiere into 2020 version, and also resetting my system. And there are the several things like I need to be export. Because of that, I facing some sort of things while exporting. Like it cannot be export, or it takes too much time to export, almost like 24 or 25 hours. So those things is kind of like being really hectic for me, and I was really nervous and super nervous. So I didn't really because my editing was also complete, but I didn't really export. So that is too much hectic things for me. So that's why I was didn't really make the English session. Yes, but I do know understand the value of the English session and do need to continue about that. But today, right now, it's completely fine. I also updated my 2020 version, and I also exported and also uploading videos right now. The second part is also uploading on this phone. So everything is fine. Yeah, it's not that kind of like a creepy stuff. Yeah, it's been really great. And I'm not really avoiding the English session. No, because the English session is really helps me to become really better to speak with everyone. Yes, but it's just like you cannot make English sessions in night. Okay, you have to make English session in the morning or noon. Okay, and that is the time I was kind of like a super busy. I was like editing, and I was like because my sister is also here, and she has a baby. So sometimes I need to be take care of her baby, and sometimes I do need to some housework or editing stuff. It's like it's there is a one thing I'm gonna tell you is that ki once you started editing, you cannot be just like take a 5 minute break or 10 minutes break, or it just like no. You just have to be. You just put yourself on that desk for the editing, and you just get out from there after you complete your editing. So that's the only way you can completely focus, and you will completely achieve what you want in editing. Okay, so that's why I didn't really break a lot. So once I started editing, I need to complete editing, and after that I need to do other stuff. So that's it takes some time, but whatever. Yeah, today I have a time. So yes. So basically, in the morning, actually, it's like it's really good. Actually, it's almost like a 9. It's 8:46. Okay, so it's a morning, but kind of like really late. Yes, but yeah, we will wake up. So yes. So the Shaw Academy, I also continuing my videography courses on the Shaw Academy. It's an online course. So I'm continue learning on this thing, but there is a problem. Is like there are the 4 modules. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 modules. I complete the module 1 and also record everything what I learn about. But is there is a module 2, and what is module 2? Module 2 is kind of like a really paid course. So I buy recently just like a week ago, but I didn't really get those online lecture. So I was really confused. Like yeah, I paid so much money for that courses, but I didn't really get. So it just like I emailed this thing, but after a few days, it after a 2 or 3 days, it automatically unlock all the courses, and I'm good to go. I'm really fine, and they also provide me a PDF for slides, and that will really help me a lot. So I cannot make notes So I just like I have already printed media for everything, so it's really cool. So I complete the module 2 lesson number 1, so that's why I am here, and that's why here I'm telling you to this. Okay. So what do we need? Yeah, is actually we are already cover up what is exactly they are trying to say, and what is exactly I want to tell. So we actually cover up everything, but it just like we are telling this thing, it just completely out of the blue. It's like we just like whatever I know about this thing, but right now after I watching this lecture, I exactly know what this author or what this lecture want to say to me. So for that thing, yeah, it's kind of like a really good thing for me. Video M2 Alert, no, M2 lesson 1, M2 and 1. Okay. So hello. So this is actually Shaw Academy module 2 lesson number 1, and this actually lesson number 1 is belongs to the content creator, and how do you make your content, and how do you create your own idea. These all depend upon that, so I'm gonna talking about. So there is a three things we are cover up. Is just like set up the video content creation, okay, then idea generation for the content creation, and social media. Okay. So what are those things, and what things are really important for you? Because these kind of things is not related with the videography. No, it's related with your content. Okay. Because one thing I'm gonna tell you is that your content is a king. Once you have content is kind of like a really good and really amazing and good to people to watch, then you are kind of something. Yeah. It just like YouTube is kind of belongs to the creative people, not for the like I have something and I can do whatever. No. It's like a what you know and what people likes, that is most important thing. Okay. So setup for the video content creation. It's like it's what kind of gear and what kind of things do you require for the content creation. There is a one thing we do understand, and that is that camera. What kind of camera do you need for this content creation? It's depend on you. It's depend on you. It's depend on your budget. If you are startup, start from your cell phone. Yes, that is the most important thing, because right now cell phone has a really good quality and is everything. And I also working through the cell phone, and I have really good and positive result. Yeah, I do have some sort of things that I need to record in some sort of higher machine than yeah, but actually the cell phone gives you really nice and smooth, and everything is kind of like a feels really good, trust me. Yeah, it's just like you do have a cell phone, don't need to invest on camera because you don't have money for that. So you just like invest a gimbal, a mobile gimbal. That mobile gimbal gives you really good and smooth transition for everything. Right now I'm shooting at, so that is because of that. And this mobile actually mounted on that gimbal, and gimbal is kind of like a really flexible and kind of like a really smooth for moving and steady shot and still shot. It's kind of like a really good, trust me. So invest good thing on the gimbal, because no one likes shaky shot. If you are kind of like mentioning, if you are kind of like it's depend on you. Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, I do adjust with the less resolution, but I cannot adjust with the shaky footage. No, I like a smooth footage for everything. Yes. So that's why I buy this gimbal, and that gimbal is really helped me a lot. Okay. If you have a DSLR camera, yeah, you invest a really high amount to buying this camera. But you don't have a gimbal, and you are recording some sort of really footage, and that kind of footage is kind of like really shaky, so that your content is not really professional, trust me. Yeah, if you have a phone, invest a gimbal. That is, gimbal gives you really smooth for everything. Okay. You do have a compromise with the resolution, like you do, but right now cell phone is a kind of like a really good. They have almost, they are kind of like a providing 4K or 1080p. and whatever the maximum things you required from the phone is like a 1080p 60 or 4K 60, but it's depend on your editing media. That editing is kind of like a really supporting things. Like I don't have such editing table that support 4K, or I can I can edit 4K footage with my Premiere, with my machine. It's kind of like a really impossible thing for me. So mostly I record in 1080p, which is kind of like a really good and everything's fine. So that's why I use 1080p. So you do need to invest, but if you have a money and if you want to willing to invest money on the camera, so which camera do you need for this content creation? Yeah, I'm not really providing this thing ki I'm like this camera is kind of like really good, like you do have a buy Sony A7S3 or Canon R5. It's what does the things inside that camera you do need to look at. And what is that thing? That thing is first of all, high quality video. First of all, you do need to look for the which quality the camera is provided. It's like 1080p or 4K. Okay, I'm suggesting it's 4K has to be important. 4K 60, that is the minimum resolution you do need for this content creation. Yeah. Why 60 frame per second? 60 frame per second for the slow motions, and if they are providing 60 frame per second, that means you are also recording 30 fps or 24 fps, which is kind of like a really flexible to you. So mostly you do need to look up for which quality they provide for that. Okay. Then there is a microphone input. Obviously, there is a filmmaker is kind of like they are not actually mention the importance of the sound, and sound is really important. Right now I am also not really feeling that I don't have a really audio input. Right now I'm recording audio from that mobile phone. Yes. Because of that I didn't have money to buy microphone or shorter mic. It's kind of like a big really expensive things for me. Yes, so that's why I didn't really buy, but I do know the importance of the sound. So I actually am mentioning this thing like if you have willing to some sort of money, buy a proper microphone or shotgun mic, which is kind of like a really good for the audio, because no one like a really creepy sounds and something like that. And once you face this sound problem on the post, which is kind of like a really not to repair, and it's like they are gone or gone. Yeah, you cannot recover the sound. Yeah, you can recover the visual effects, but you cannot recover the sound. Yes, once you record whatever sound you have, that sound is already with you, so do not compromise with the sound. Yeah, actually sound is really good, trust me. So do need to invest a proper microphone input. Yeah, you do need to know about is that microphone input is already available on that camera or not. You do need to know that. Then there is a rotating LCD screen. If you are a blogger or if you are something to film yourself, mostly happens because of that you are kind of like doing by yourself. Yes, because every time you are kind of like doing content creation, that is because of that you are doing solo. Everything you have to do, you have to shoot and everything and edit everything, you have to do solo. Okay. So for doing this, you do need to shoot yourself. So how do you shoot yourself is kind of like a vlogging thing. And how is this vlogging thing happen? Vlogging thing happen because of that it's just like you shoot yourself with your camera, but you don't know where to look. It's kind of like a really creepy too. But yeah, this vlogging is a thing I'm gonna tell you is that you do need to understand what the people think. Okay. Sorry, you do not think about what people think. Yeah, you just need to focus on what you can do and what you can capable to do. Okay. Once you face this kind of stuff like what people think about me when I'm doing vlogging, yeah, they people think whatever they think. Yeah, do need to listen or do need to notice for everything. You just need to focus on yourself. Okay. for the vlogging, I'm telling you, you do need a rotating screen. A rotating screen is kind of like really helpful for managing your frame. Like you are knowing you are if you are focused or not focused. So if you are willing to do is kind of like a vlogging, but you don't have a rotating screen, and then you don't know about am I focused or not focused, or it's kind of like yeah, you have autofocus on this camera, but you don't know anything about it because you are not watching yourself. So rotating LCD is kind of like a really good, and it's really essential and for the vlogging. Yes. But yeah, but those are the things really important. But rotating LCD is, yeah, for the vlogger things for is really essential. But if you are having a really low budget, so it's kind of like a things you do need to compromise. Like I don't have a rotating screen, and if you buy some sort of really high end camera that have a rotating screen, but which is kind of like a really out of budget, so you do need to let it go that. And it's kind of like a depend on you. Yeah, it's like how much do you money you have, and how much you accessory which you can buy. Okay, that is most important thing. Then there is a image stabilization. Yeah, I also tell you earlier, no one likes a shaky shot. You do need to stabilize your shot, and stabilizing a video footage is kind of like a really essential. Yeah, there is a two things you can do. Buy a gimbal. Okay, gimbal is kind of like a really good. It's kind of like doing some sort of really shaky shot for mobile cell phone. Everyone has a DSLR. Everyone has for gimbal. Okay, but you don't have a gimbal, and you are kind of like doing things with by handheld. So there is always a shaky things appear on the frame. Okay, but how do you remove that shaky some sort of things? You cannot remove those things. Yes, yeah, there some sort of things happen in the post like warp stabilization, but it won't help you that much either. Okay, so but there is also thing is also available like there is a two stabilization. There is a two method way to stabilize your footage, and what is the method is like lens stabilization and camera stabilization. In body camera stabilization, lens stabilization means the lens will stabilize the frame, and which will gives you really smooth transition. But you do need to practice for the smooth transition. Like if you are holding camera like this, there is some sort of shaky shot always happen. Like whatever the stabilize you have, nothing will change. Yeah, so you do need to set your camera closest to your body. Yes, do not shake your hand too much. Okay, it's just like once you move away your camera from your body, always shake happens. Okay, so trust me, set your camera closest to your body, which will gives you really high flexible rate. And camera is kind of like really close to you. It's like this is my camera, so I'm holding this camera for this. Okay, so that's why it's kind of like a creating really cinematic and smooth shot. And it's just like you do need to look just like just do need to forward, just go this way, or go need to tilt up, this go this way, or go need to pan. Sorry, this is the pan, this is the tilt up. So this is act to be you do need to know if you are doing this, and you are kind of like a yeah, this you don't really feel that shaky shot is always happen. When once you set up on the video frame, you will know that the shakiness is always happen on the frame. So whatever the camera you have, you do need to learn how to use it and how to set. If you don't have a gimbal, no worry at all. Yeah, but I'm willing to tell you buy a gimbal. But if you don't have a gimbal, no problem, just set your camera closest to your body and walk like this. Okay, it's just like right now I'm telling you how to walk with the camera. Okay, so right now I have a so this kind of like a really normal way to record. So if you are recording like this, it kind of like a really shaky things happen, because once you walking, it's kind of like a really shaky things happens on the frame. Okay, So once you do need to know how to walk when you are shooting, set your leg to like this and set your this. Okay, do need to focus on your frame and hold your camera with your all the finger. Okay, and really tightly. Okay, and just like walk this way, or you will know really it's like walking. So that is the only way you can shoot some sort of cinematic shot. Okay, and that is the most essential thing. Okay, uh, but I'm suggest you having a gimbal is get rid of you everything, because this kind of stuff is not used for every location, because once you are mounted, once you are going to trekking on the mountain, or once you are going to some sort of slippery things, it's those kind of doing is kind of like a really crazy things, like you are slip over and you are found out like your camera is soak up with the water, so you don't really want that thing. Okay, because you, as a human, you do need to walk really well and really good. So for that thing, trust me, you do need to buy a gimbal or like a glide cam. Glide cam is kind of like for the professional, yeah, because glide cam is kind of like being really heavy, and this kind of like a proper way to use it. Yeah, gimbal has electronics that electronically stable your complete body. Okay, but once you have a glide cam is kind of like a one hand and you can handle this every smooth. It's kind of like a close to the gimbal, but which are I'm not really use a glide cam, so I didn't really know how this thing work. But I'm suggest you, if you are a beginner, buy a mobile gimbal which will gives you really professional look for everything. Or if you are using a DSLR, use a gimbal. Okay, because DSLR gimbal is kind of like a being really costly, mobile gimbal is kind of like a being really cheaper. So it's depend on you how do you manage those things. Okay, but gimbal is really necessary. Okay, and image stabilization inside your body, inside your lens, yeah, that is all matter, trust me. But having a gimbal get rid of you everything. Yeah, you don't need to worry about walking and image stabilization. No, just like I have a gimbal, then you can walk, you can run, you can do whatever you can. Your frame is always be stable. For 3-axis gimbal is kind of like a really good. Then there is a Wi-Fi connectivity. Wi-Fi connectivity is really good because you are continuously recording and you are kind of like doing things which is really quick, and because most of the time your memory is kind of like a full and you don't have a laptop to get out the memory card and get off all the footage. Pull out all the footages from camera to your cell phone, and which will gives you really high flexibility for deleting things, and you don't need to worry about my memory card is kind of like a really full and I don't need to be record. No. If you have Wi-Fi connectivity, just pull out all the footages from the phone without a laptop, and then everything is fine. Yeah, just like shoot again. So Wi-Fi connectivity is really good, so it's really better. And then there is I'm not sensing this thing Wi-Fi connectivity. Yeah, but Wi-Fi connectivity is gives you, yeah, it's kind of like a things which is required, but it is not in called, it's called essential. No. Okay, but you do need to know having a Wi-Fi connectivity is kind of like really good. Yeah, because once you have Wi-Fi connectivity, it's not just only transferring the data. If you are doing some sort of solo and your camera doesn't have LCD screen, so you connect your camera with your cell phone. Okay, and then you know exactly what camera looking. Okay, if you are kind of like mentioning this is kind of like a DSLR camera and I have a phone and connected with the Wi-Fi, but I didn't know how my frame, am I focus or not focus. So it's just like I look on the screen and tap on my face, so that's why the camera will focus on me because of this Wi-Fi connectivity. Okay, so Wi-Fi connectivity is kind of like a big really handy for everything. So having a Wi-Fi connectivity is really good. Manual mode, yeah, manual mode for the professional, like I'm not saying it's professional, but you do need to know having a manual mode is kind of like a really good. You do need to control all the possible result from the camera, like you can control your ISO, shutter speed, aperture value, and then there is a white balance and everything. That is manual mode. It has to be manual mode for everything. Having a manual mode is available on the every camera. It's not kind of like a really essential, like you are buying the camera, manual mode is always with assigned with the camera. Yes, it's not that thing. But you do need to know how to use manual mode. Yeah, it's always available, but you are kind of like knowing things like I'm is it really good, so I'm using this thing or manual mode for, like, you do need to learn how to use manual mode. Okay, that is mostly important thing. Then there is a portability. Yeah, having a portability is really good. For my experience, trust me, I'm living in India, and most of the things is kind of like really crazy things happen. Like you don't have a permission to record everywhere. Okay, basically it happens to the everywhere. Yeah, trust me. Like if you are going to the temple, or if you are going to the some sort of things, your DSLR camera is kind of like how compact it is kind of like a really good for you. Because of that, you can hide this camera to everyone that people doesn't know. Yeah, like if you are saying like I have a really long lens and telephoto lens which is at this height, and and your camera body is kind of like a really big and massive stuff, and you are using really high-end tripod, and this is kind of like a really video stuff. Okay, and whatever you are shooting, they are actually people are always around you. They are telling you, are you giving the proper permission for this shooting actually? Okay, and you don't have a permission, like yeah, so it's kind of like a really creepy things happen. Okay, so I'm sensing having a portable camera which is kind of like a really good, which is kind of like a really important for everything. Okay, like your cell phone, trust me, your cell phone is a really good portable device for capturing the photos, videos, and everything. Okay, so having a cell phone which is kind of like a trick for everyone, like you are going to some sort of temple which is kind of like a, they are saying is we are not giving you permission to shoot. So on this time, how do you manage those things? You are going to that location and you just go shoot by yourself with your cell phone, and with your proper technique that I just tell you right now, which will gives you really good things and everything is fine. Okay, so having a portable camera which is really good and which is really amazing. And for this portable camera, there are always things available like a GoPro or cell phone. GoPro is kind of like a really good. GoPro is kind of like this size of camera, which will gives you really 4K quality and which will really amazing. Okay, and this drone camera, sorry, this kind of like a GoPro camera is really good for portability. Okay, so having a portable camera which will gives you really high flexibility for everything. Then there is a smartphone. Trust me, having a smartphone or doing things with a smartphone is kind of like a really essential for you. You are kind of like a really startup and you are kind of like a starting everything. So at that time, cell phone is really important for you. So you do need to know about things. Okay. Then there is a tripod. Having a tripod is really good. Okay, because tripod gives you still shot for panning and tilt up, tilt down. Which is actually happen with the tripod. Basically, tripod is for those like if you have a really high and heavy body and heavy lens. So for those things, you do need a well tripod. But I'm sensing is that having a gimbal get rid of you everything. Okay, just like buy a gimbal and buy this kind of this kind of tripod which is kind of like a closest to the monopod and work as well as a tripod. Okay, and which is kind of like a really close and which is kind of like a really chota for everything. Okay, which will gives you for everything. Like you don't need to worry about the tripod and nothing at all. Yes, but actually there is one thing I'm gonna tell you. Gimbal is for the electronic things. Okay, like once I am kind of like doing panning things, so I need to pan really fast. So I, okay, there is some sort of shaking is happened. That is because of that I am doing with my phone. Okay, if I have a tripod, I can set this handle. There is a handle also available on this tripod, which where you can quickly move and it won't be shake and it will quickly pan. Okay, and that shot always happen with the tripod. Okay, that shot doesn't shoot with the gimbal. Okay, like I am doing with the panning with this, it's kind of like I also depend on the how much time it takes for the panning. So it just like I need to quick panning shot, so I need to put it, and it's kind of like taking his time for this thing. So there is always things happen with the gimbal. Okay, so you do need to mention, yeah, because every equipment or everything is kind of like a depend on their flexibility. Okay, having a tripod which will give, because some sort of shots which meant to be tripod, some sort of shots are meant to be gimbal. You cannot set one equipment for everything. Okay, so yeah, but you do need to cheat, you do need to manageable, but once you are professional, then you do need to require for everything like a monopod or tripod or gimbal or drone. It's kind of like a everything. Shotgun mic. I always told you what is the importance of the shotgun mic. Okay, there are also available shotgun mic like a Rode NTG3 and NTG4. I'm saying is that having a good quality of sound your subject is kind of like a really important. Whatever mic you have, mostly I'm gonna tell you is that lava mic, which kind of like a really good and cheaper and which will closest to the subject and it will completely focus on the subject voice, and which will really important for the interviews and blogging and everything. So using shotgun mic, so using a lava mic which will gives you really high flexibility of sound. But if you are capturing ambient sound, so at that time you do need a shotgun mic or boom mic which will capture all the ambient sound. So you do need to know about two mics which is really important for your shoot, and shotgun mic and lava mic, those mics are always with you while you're shooting. Okay, so these are the important things. Lighting system, light is really essential. Whatever the camera you have, what is the really expensive video camera you have, doesn't give really cinematic shot. Cinematic shot is kind of like a depend on how do you set your composition, how do you set your actor, actress, light, and how do you shoot, what is the camera. It's kind of like a depend on the theme. Okay, so lighting is gives you really high flexibility for everything. Lighting gives you really amazing things, depth of the subject, knowing the things. Like if you have a subject which is kind of like a villain, so you do need to set a villain like a split tone. Split tone is kind of like a one side of face is brighter than one side of face is darker. Okay, so that is called split tone, and this kind of thing has to be happen because of the lighting. So you do need to know about lighting. Okay, and there are the main lighting. There are the four kind of light things has to be important. But what is the four light? There is a key light. Key light is a main source of light. Then there is a fill light. Fill light is filling the blank, filling the darkness to the soft light. That is called fill light. Then there is a rim light or backlight. That is rim light or backlight, which is kind of like a giving a light to the light to your head for the pop up from the ground, pop up from your background. So which will gives you really 3D effect. And then there is another light is a background light. Background light is kind of like really essential for you are doing some sort of creative stuff with the background. So background is kind of like really good, but I'm not saying is important. Because of that, once you are doing this thing, you are kind of like a focus on background. Once you are too much work on the background, yeah, you do need to look up for your subject, and subject is kind of like a really essential. So yes, right now I am recording with this phone which have a really high aperture value. That means everything is focused. Okay. So once you have get rid of both of me, you are looking, yeah, either side of this thing, like you are looking that tree or this thing or my terrace. So you are looking that cooler. So it's kind of like a distracting from the focus. How? 1 minute. Sorry for this disturbance. once you are living with your family, you have to deal with those things. Okay. Whatever. Then we are talking about the software. Which software do you need? Premiere Pro is best for everything. Yeah, having a Premiere Pro, having FCP was really good. But you are a startup and you don't know editing things. You are going to the Filmora or Adobe Rush or you do need to know editing. Yeah, there are the bunch of software for everything. You can do editing the phone and laptop and everything. But I'm suggesting learning a Premiere, which will gives you high flexibility, because in the end you are going to the Premiere, and Premiere is the only thing that you can do whatever you want. Okay, and mostly professional and everyone are use Premiere Pro. So having a Premiere Pro is really good. So learn Premiere Pro. Okay, but if you don't know anything about editing, so go to the any app, any video editor, and edit your footage. It's kind of like a different on thing.
टॉप शोध परिणाम हे आहेत.
Then there is a lighting and lighting composition. Okay, so what is exactly a lighting and lighting composition, and what will things is हाथ ने लो. What is the things that you do need to know for the lighting? What is lighting and lighting composition? Lighting composition, that means there are some sort of things which are really important, like where you place your light, and that placing the lighting or composition of the lighting, which will gives you really dry and cinematic look for everything. Okay, so it's just like there are the 4 way to do that. There is one thing is that flat lighting. Flat lighting means you are kind of like a subject and background and everything is kind of like a really good amount of light that you can that subject doesn't have any shadows or everything. It's completely flat and everything is focused and everything you can see is kind of like a really good. So that is called flat lighting. Flat lighting used for comedy and commercial usually. Yes. So yes. Then there is a Rembrandt lighting. The Rembrandt lighting means you are doing some sort of lighting things on the cheekbone. Anu rav de. Anu chedu nuko jalla rav de. Lighting on there is a cheekbone which is kind of like a really brighter than dark, and this kind of like a brighter. Sorry, this is brighter, this is dark, but there is some sort of cheekbone having a brighter than this entire section. That is called Rembrandt light. This used for drama actually. Then there is a split light. Split light means you are kind of like doing half side of frame which is brighter and half side of frame which is darker. That is called split light, usually used for the villain and yeah. And then there is checkerboard light. Checkerboard light means if you are kind of like Anu rav de. So then there is a called checkerboard light. Checkerboard light, which is meant to be what kind of brighter face you have. Your background kind of like a really darker, and once your face is kind of like a really brighter, that side of background is kind of like a really dark. Okay, so it's kind of like a split and checkered board effect. So those are lighting also used. Okay, there are the 4 type of light, but it's kind of like a depend on the situation and everything, which is how you set your lighting things for this that. So yeah. And then there is a lighting light. Then idea generation. What kind of idea do you need for this video, and what kind of content do you want to spread for everything? Because you can learn everything. You can learn camera and software and lens and lighting and what to talk, everything. Yes, but what do you provide with the audience? Okay, and what is the really essential thing for those? So idea is kind of like a idea is kind of happens once in a while. Okay, and it's your idea is really important because your content is depend upon the idea, because idea is kind of like a bond thing for everything. Okay, so if you don't know how to shoot, if you don't know, sorry, if you don't know what to shoot, then you kind of like really stuck, like how, what to shoot and what not to shoot. Okay, so it's really important to having an idea or idea generation, which is really great. For those things, author are telling some sort of things that most important is like inspiration. You do are inspired from everything, like if I am the filmmaker, or if I am some sort of cooking, or if I am doing some sort of makeup, which is actually inspired from the people, like whatever the people doing things required to the particular subject. So it's really important for what I'm gonna tell you. I'm kind of like a distracted by this Anu is kind of like a doing, so that's why I am distracting, and hope also you are also distracting with this thing. So um, inspiration, yes, inspiration is really good. You do need to know you are inspired from everything, and that is most essential thing. And you do need to know inspire and do your things with your style, so that is most important thing. Also influence, yeah, you big things happens with the influence, like you know this kind of guy is really amazing and he's doing, and we are doing some sort of same passion, so you get also influence with those things. Influence is kind of like willing to do this thing, passion. So yes, read and respond, yes, read your content or read a book. Okay, that book gives you really high amount of content, or newspaper or story or everything, because once you are going to be read, you are willing to open up your content creation. So read and respond, which will give you really amazing things. Okay, then there is a research. What is exactly a research? Research means kind of like reading things. Yeah, you are, it's depend. Take. It's research is kind of like a it. छोड़ो नको जरा, छोड़ो. Cooler. So research means reading what the amount you have, what the material you have, and you are kind of like researching things, reading things, and getting to know what is exactly best for your content, and try to suck out the proper content from that material, which will give you really good. So read and respond, research. Brainstorm has to be happen with the team. Actually, if you are working with a team, that means everyone is willing to give you idea, like we have to do like this, we have to do like that, we have to, it's kind of like a brainstorm. That means multiple idea came at once, so that is called brainstorm. And that is the most difficult thing, like how do you manage all these ideas. अनु बोलवत त्याच्या ते खाली जा, ते जो ब्रश तो having all those ideas. Yeah. अन्नू इकडे आली
का? चलो. अरे बाबा भूर चालले ना.
So what I'm gonna tell you is that brainstorm is kind of like a multiple things happens at once, multiple ideas, so you do need to manage your idea. First of all, write it down, all the idea came, because if the idea came, it doesn't come away, it doesn't come another time. So you do need to write or record your idea, because those things are really essential. Then you do need to work on each idea, which idea is really important, which idea is really not important, which idea has to be done something really good way. So is really important. To just like whatever the idea you have, you just need to record yourself or write it down somewhere, which is kind of like a really essential, because if the idea goes away, it won't back, trust me. So idea happened at once, so yes. And if you are kind of like doing something alone and you don't know anything and you don't have a contact and you don't have a team, just go alone, get out and shoot whatever you have. Okay, it doesn't need to be really good and really amazing. No, just shoot a simple way, get out and just do whatever you like. Okay, because once you have a alone thing, once you have a alone, you do know what to do, what not to do. Okay, so get out and practice. Okay, just like that is the most important thing. Okay, if you are willing to do something really amazing, just go and practice, because practice is really essential, which is really good. Pay attention the trends. Okay, trending things, what people like is kind of like a really essential. Like this song is kind of like a really trending, so what can I do? Like trending thing is kind of like a really gives you to influence to the people who are watching your content. Like whatever the content you have, you are making this relate with the trending. So trending is kind of like a what people are liking this thing, like a song or some sort of video or some sort of comedy stuff. So it's really important to look for the trending, which will really help you a lot. Okay, but trending is, I'm not telling you just doing right now. If you are startup, you just like do need to focus on your passion. But if you are kind of like a really grown up and you know what to do, so pay attention to the trends is really good. Educate yourself, learn yourself is really important, trust me. If you are content creator, you are not doing 9 to 5 job, you are not going to the any some sort of company. No, you are enhancing your creativity, and that creativity came from the learning. And you do need to know about learning, you do need to educate yourself every day, and that is most essential thing. Okay, because like you cannot shoot every day. Okay, chalo koi baat nahi, but you do need to understand what is the things I need to know. Okay, like I have a passion for filmmaking, so I always need to know about what camera has the highest possible result, what is the FPV, what is a drone, what kind of things which is really important for my footages, for my career. So educate yourself, which is really good, and this has to be happen every day. Start a simple, trust me, I tell you earlier, if you are kind of like a really startup things, don't need to look for really high-end things like shooting with the high-end trends, brand or actor, which is not things happen, trust me. Go alone, go shoot, do simple. Okay, once you started simple, you just build your confidence from inside you that you can make it. That is the most essential thing. Building a confidence is really important, and having a building confidence with a simple thing that you can do. Okay, so it's like that. Do simple, start simple, and that is most essential thing. Stay healthy, obviously. If you are willing to do something really, always be healthy, because health is really good. Content creation, yeah, if you have everything what I just tell you, yeah, if you know everything, if you have an idea, just do content, create, do your camera and do something. Online, outline your objective, try to find what is the objective, what you can tell your audience, what is my objective. This thing I need to tell about the camera, this thing tell about camera, shutter speed, this thing, body, portability, everything. Set the objective, what you do need to talk. That is most essential thing, that you cannot distract from these specific things. So yeah, Then there is a target audience. You do need to know about your target audience, but you don't need to worry about target audience, because YouTube will does everything about you. Because if you are kind of like a willing to do for filmmaking, and if you are passion and you are constantly uploading related with the filmmaking, so people will know that you are kind of like a know about this passion, and they are creating such a people, they are gathering such a people, they are kind of like a same passion as you. Okay, but if you are having some sort of creative or target audience, then you will set this particular subject with the target audience, that like if you have a interest for the filmmaking, then YouTube will won't really see this cooking video, because you are not interested in cooking. Okay, so this kind of thing always happens. Okay, so you do need to know about your target audience. Okay, focus on the core message. Okay, there is always happen like what is your core message. Okay, and once you are telling things about you, about your content, which is really important to focus on your subject, focus on your core message, because core message is really important. That is the important things I tell you, really repetitive words, but core is really what you want to, and do not distract from the core. That is most. Yeah, plan specific, plan in detail. Okay, if you are making travel video, it's just like travel for plan for everything, plan for each hour, what you can do, what you cannot do, where you can break, where you can just shoot, and it's plan ahead, plan in detail, which will gives you really high flexibility. You don't need to worry about, okay, this kind of shot I have to shoot, but I didn't really shoot. So planning is really essential. Okay, plan ahead or plan in detail, which is really do. Write a brief. Okay, like you don't know anything about the writing. Okay, you don't know anything about the words, so make a script. Script will really help you to what to talk, what not to talk. But having a script is kind of like a really robotic language, because if you are telling a script, that means you do need to be actor. Yeah, because acting is kind of like a really different thing. Like you do need to talk with the confidence with the script. Okay, so writing a script which will really help you. Yeah, but I'm not really recommending these things, because once you are locked with the script, like then your content is kind of like a really robotic, that you can reading the script. Yes, just reading the script, and reading a script is not really good. Like I am telling things with my emotions, heart, and everything. Like is this thing is kind of like a printed, so it's not gonna look, because I'm not an actor actually. Because actor is kind of like understanding what is a scripted and what is has to be put the emotions on the specific subject. Okay, so I didn't know about the acting, so I'm not an actor, and mostly the content creator, mostly they are not the actor. Okay, so you are willing to know what you can need to talk with the people, and just get the points that you need to talk, and just talk. Okay, that is most essential. Audience attention. Yeah, set the audience attention a proper way, because you do need to get bored with your audience. If you are doing this, audience will never watch your content again. So set your content is really good and people like it. Okay, then there is a social media. There are so many people are using a social media, and social media is really amazing. People love it, people like it, and making business on the social media, which will really gives you really high flexibility, high amazing things. So social media is really important. So there are several things like YouTube. Yeah, YouTube is really good. There are the billions of people using YouTube, Instagram. Why you use Instagram? Okay, I'm not really talking about those things, because you know about what is a Instagram, what is a YouTube, and what is a hashtag. Hashtag is kind of like a hashtag trends for just like you do need to set hashtag for the proper way, that you can explicit your video to the everyone. So having a hashtag is really good, but not too much. People are doing really very hashtag, which is not really well for your content. So try to be specific, being a hashtag which is really gives you really cool and really amazing. So yes. Then there is a TikTok. Yeah, usually our India TikTok is banned, so we don't know talk about the India. We don't know talk about the TikTok. Yes. Then there is a Snapchat. Snapchat is also social media, but which is kind of like being really private. Then also Facebook and everything. I'm not gonna tell you everything. Then Twitter, and there are multiple social media. Okay. Once you have creative content and once you have recorded, you can upload every media. You can upload in every media, like uploading YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere, or share with the WhatsApp and Instagram, and there are the several things, multiple things, and yeah, social media hasn't worry about that all. So this is the module 1, and I completed the module 1, which is kind of like a really good. I feel really amazing. I feel really great. And I have to record this thing which will gives you really amazing things for me for understanding the concept, and while I'm doing this again and again, which will gives you really repetitive stuff, and which will really amazing things happen with me, and I learn again and again, which will help me really good things. Okay, so I completed the module 1 lesson number 1. Okay, and right now I feel really good. It's time almost be like 9:43, so it's almost like paune 10. So I need to go downstairs and just eat some sort of breakfast and just edit some videos. Okay, I will definitely record another video. Okay, but right now I feel really good. Yeah. So yeah, this is it, and this is good. How? So yeah. Okay. Thank you.